You ever notice how some of the truly wealthy people, well, they seem to live surprisingly normal lives? No big spectacle, no flash. That's because real wealth, the kind that lasts, isn't about showing off. It's about mastering a set of principles that have been around forever. And today, we are diving deep into the most powerful one, this simple, consistent rule of putting small amounts of money to work silently in the background. This is the blueprint that turns a few $100 into millions. Wow, this quote from financial guru Dave Ramsey just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? This is the core problem. It's this constant battle between buying flashy stuff to look good for other people versus the quiet discipline of stealth wealth. That's the fight we're talking about today, and just understanding it is the very first step to winning. Okay, so before we can start building anything, we have to understand what we're really up against. And let's call it what it is, the modern money trap. It's the system that's designed to keep most of us running on a treadmill, just running in place, but never actually getting anywhere. It's a pretty intense question, right? But seriously, when you start to look around, you see that a lot of the financial forces in our lives, they're not exactly set up to help us win. They are designed for one thing: spending, not building. And what's wild is how all of these things work together. They create this vicious cycle. Banks are pushing debt on you 24/7. Social media makes you feel like you're falling behind if you don't have the latest and greatest. Ads are literally designed to create desires you didn't even know you had. And all that leads to those little impulse buys, the budget breakers, that just sabotage your plans. It's a cycle that traps people, making them rely on that one secure job that, let's be honest, could vanish tomorrow. That right there is the rat race. So, how do we get out? How do we escape the trap? Well, we look to the past. The answer isn't some fancy new app. It's a timeless principle, and it was perfectly captured by one of the richest people in history, John D. Rockefeller, and his incredibly simple but powerful ledger. Think about this. Even when he was just a teenager, Rockefeller tracked everything, every single penny. And this wasn't about being cheap or stingy. It was about being in control. His ledger was his tool for total financial awareness, and it literally became the foundation of his entire empire. He just understood a fundamental truth about money. And this is exactly why that little ledger mattered so much. It's a tool that brings order to the chaos of our finances. I mean, if you don't know where your money is actually going, you'll always be wondering where it went. Control, true financial control, starts with tracking. This is your first step. It is absolutely non-negotiable. All right, so once you have that awareness, once you know what's happening, you can start building your defenses. Now, I know this isn't the most glamorous part, but believe me, it is the most critical. This is where you build your financial fortress, that solid ground you'll need to launch your real wealth-building journey from. Every single credible financial expert will tell you this: you have to have a safety net, an emergency fund. What does that mean? It means having 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses saved up in an account you can get to like tomorrow. This is your shield against life's crazy curveballs, a job loss, a medical bill, you name it. This fund is what keeps a surprise from becoming a disaster that throws you deep into debt. Now, if you've got consumer debt, you need a battle plan. And this is Dave Ramsey's famous debt snowball. The psychology here is it's brilliant. By going after the smallest debt first, you get a quick win. And that win, that feeling of progress, builds momentum and motivation. You then take the money you were paying on that debt and you snowball it onto the next one and then the next until you're this unstoppable debt-crushing machine. But let's be super clear here. Not all debt is the same. The wealthy understand this difference deep down. Good debt, well, that's a tool. It's used to buy assets, things that will grow in value or make you money. Bad debt, on the other hand, is used to buy liabilities, things that just go down in value and suck money out of your pocket. The goal is to get rid of the bad debt completely. And who better to hammer that point home than Warren Buffett himself? His whole philosophy is so simple. Borrowing money to buy stuff is a losing game. The interest you pay on consumer debt is like the wealth engine working in reverse. It's actively draining your power to build anything. All right, your fortress is built, your defenses are solid. Now it's time to go on offense. It's time to activate the single most powerful force in all of finance, the engine that will do all the heavy lifting for you for years and years to come. We're talking about compound interest. People have called it the eighth wonder of the world. Just think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. Your money makes babies, and then those babies grow up and have their own babies. It starts so slow, you can barely see it. But over time, its power becomes absolutely explosive. This chart tells an unbelievable story.
Just look at Anna and Ben. Anna invests for only 10 years, and then she stops, cold. Ben starts right after she stops, and he invests for 30 years. He puts in 3 times more money than she did. But look at the results. Anna ends up with nearly $200,000 more. How? Why? Because her money had an extra 10 years to compound. It proves without a doubt that when you start is way more important than how much you start with.
And Buffett, again, just nails it. That wealth engine compounding, it only runs on one kind of fuel, time. It rewards patience, and it absolutely punishes impatience. The game isn't about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And if you're thinking, I don't have enough to start, that's where you're wrong. This is the heart of the stealth wealth rule. It is not about having thousands of dollars to invest at once. It's about the incredible power of small, consistent habits. That $5 coffee every day, that subscription you forgot you had. If you redirect just a few $100 a month, it could literally fund your entire retirement. Every dollar you have is like a little worker. You can either spend it or you can send it out to build an army for you. So we've covered the mechanics, right? The what to do. But honestly, none of it matters if you don't master this psychology, the inner game of wealth. Your mindset is the operating system that runs this entire machine. This might be Buffett's most famous piece of advice, and it's all about emotional control. The average person buys high when everyone's excited, that's greed, and sells low when everyone's panicking, that's fear. The wealthy do the exact opposite. They see a market panic not as a crisis, but as a sale. It's a buying opportunity, a chance to deploy their savings when everything is cheap. You are going to make mistakes. Everybody does. That's a guarantee. The key is to learn from them and to cut your losses fast. You have to see failure not as some final judgment on you, but as tuition you paid in the school of experience. Don't let your ego convince you to keep digging a deeper hole. Oh, this is such a powerful way to look at the world. Most people just complain about problems, but entrepreneurs and investors, they hear those same complaints as signals of unmet needs. And where there are needs, there is opportunity. If you can solve a problem that a lot of people are complaining about, you can create massive value. So start listening to the complaints. And this brings us right back to the beginning, to the core idea of stealth wealth. It's all about delayed gratification. It means you make some sacrifices now. Maybe you drive an older car, you skip the fancy vacations, so you can build a future of true freedom. A future that most people who are stuck in that cycle of short-term comfort will never, ever get to experience. So when you boil it all down, this is what it comes to. True wealth isn't the flashy car or the designer watch. That's just a performance. That's a display of spending. Real wealth is the assets that you build quietly, in the background, the investments, the businesses, the financial freedom you are building when absolutely no one is watching. We started with Rockefeller and his ledger, his tool for awareness. And now the journey starts for you. Taking back control begins with that first simple act of just writing it down, of measuring. It's the first step to applying your own wealth rule. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the very first entry you're going to make?